Hello, team, and welcome. Season 2, Episode 9, almost running out of fingers. But welcome. Today, we will be practicing an activity that I used to really enjoy when I was a kid. And we will also be going over memory recall. And it's the reason we really have tests in school. It's not to make you go crazy and pull out your hair. The whole point is to force you to recall what you learned, and we will be doing a little activity to help you with your TED Talk for the end of the season. And first up, Mad Libs. Most Americans should be familiar with them, but I do not know of them, at least here in Brazil. And the first activity that I would like you to do is imagine your TED Talk, the one you are preparing. And if you were to walk out with just a tiny little note, you can only write down 10 keywords. What would they be? If you don't know one of these words, you might know them in your own language. Then find them because you will need them for your presentation. And that is your first objective. Then, that's your warm up. Then our actual first objective, sorry about that, is called Tell Me More. And let's say you have an idea, you think, I think I'm going to talk about this. Grab a partner and get them to ask you some questions, because this will help you have to justify, to explain, to defend your idea. And these are some questions that you can ask to kind of review the direction that you are going in with your TED Talk. Objective 2 is to actually play this. Not only is it a silly, fun way to practice your English, it is also a good reminder of these grammatical terms. So a noun, a thing. So a plural noun, more than one of that thing. And the way you play is you just see these cues. You don't see the story. And you need to fill in this information. So for example, animal, dog, verb, lift weights. And we have these different categories. And at the end, so this was the Jingle Bell story, you will fill in these words to see what comes from it. And usually it's a ridiculous Frankenstein story, but they're fun, they're light. It's another creative way to be practicing your English. So I gave you 3 options here. At the end of the PDF, I will also show you a link to a site with many, many, many more. This was just a book that I happened to find that my mother sent for lease. And it's fun. She's enjoying practicing with this. And conversation starters. Let me pick one. Do you prefer the warm or cold weather? I definitely prefer the cold weather. There is no maybe. No, it depends. I prefer the cold weather. It wakes me up. It keeps me more active. The warm weather is good for relaxing, I guess, but the cold weather is good for production, at least in my case. It wakes me up, 5 a.m. You might not want to get up, but if you do, if you beat that voice in your head, it's right here. My day, it starts going right there. So I prefer the cold weather. To embellish it, this is a good word. Some of my students enjoyed this, and it is to make a story prettier or nicer. And usually it involves exaggeration. I mentioned my cousin Barbara, Babi. She can embellish a story beautifully. It is truly a skill. So here's the digital version of these Mad Libs. If you click on it, you will go to a big site, and you can check whether you want to do this by the category or by the length. So for example, here, length. This would be alphabetical. This one would be random. These are some new ones. And there's no one that is better than the other. If you see something that interests you, I love Romeo and Juliet. Pick Romeo and Juliet. I like dinosaurs. Go with the dinosaurs. But team, that is it. It's a quick one this week. I hope you're preparing for your TED Talk, and I will see you in class.